Hi YouTube, it's Mike here, and today I'm going to tell you about one of my favourite record labels. And it's a label formed in London in the mid-70s, and it's formed by two guys called Dave Robinson and Jake Riviera. And they were really frustrated with the way that the established labels were just ignoring great talent that they were seeing every week around the pubs and clubs of London. So they set out to do something about it for themselves. And they formed Stiff Records in Bayswater in the mid-70s. And they very quickly gathered around them an absolutely brilliant roster of artists who became household names very, very quickly. So, for instance, you had Elvis Costello, Nick Lowe. I mean, Nick Lowe was already known because he was a member of Brinsley Schwarz, and it also was in Dave Edmunds' Rockpile. But he was signed, more as a solo artist by Stiff Records. But there's also Ian Dury, who was the front man of the London pub rockers, Kilburn and the High Roads. And there was Larry Wallace, who was of the Pink Fairies and an early member of Motorhead. And you also had, great people like Wreckless Eric, The Damned, and many, many more. And they managed to gather these guys, release records, and have, quite honestly, pretty good success in the charts from a very, very early stage. So I'd just like to show you some of my Stiff record collection. I'll only be scratching the surface because I've got so many, but I'll concentrate particularly with the albums, with some of the early stuff, and the stuff that I think is quite significant. But before I do that, I'd like to tell you about a tour. In 1977, Stiff Records decided to take their new roster on the road for a tour. And I was lucky enough to actually sort of catch that tour. And it was on the 15th of October 1977 that I saw them at Leeds University. And it was a live Stiffs tour. And they went on to do a tour in the following year, 78, and then a third tour in 1980, but it's the first one in 77 that has all the really big stars. So, on stage we had Nick Lowe, Ian Dury, Elvis Costello, Wreckless Eric, and Larry Wallace. And it was an absolutely fantastic gig. It was anarchic, that people were wandering on and off the stage. I think Eric would be sort of telling stories for sort of quite a long time, almost forgetting that he was there to play us some music. But it was absolutely brilliant stuff. And the whole thing sort of finished with the whole ensemble sort of coming together and singing Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll. And luckily, that tour was actually been captured on vinyl. So this is the first one I want to show you. And there you go. Live, Stiffs Live. You can see it costs £2.99, this record, and the catalogue number is Get One. And as I say, you've got Nick Lowe, who was performing as Nick Lowe's Last Chicken in the Shop, and he did I Knew the Bride and Let's Eat, Wreckless Eric and the New Rockets, and we got 7/4 Signals and Reconnaissance. Larry Wallace and his Psychedelic Rowdies, and the absolutely brilliant single Police Car. Elvis Costello and the Attractions, I Just Don't Know What to Do with Myself, and Miracle Man. And then Ian Dury and the Blockheads, Bill Ricky Dickey, Wake Up and Make Love to Me. And then, as I say, the finale of the gig in Leeds and probably elsewhere was everybody coming together and doing Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll. And, after seeing this gig, I was absolutely hooked on Stiff Records. They could do no wrong as far as I was concerned. So, right, I'd like to show you now some of the singles that I've got. And I think it's only right to start with this one because this is catalogue number by one. And it's Nick Lowe, and I think you can probably see. And it's a brilliant So It Goes. And So It Goes is it's not a punk song, it's really pub rock. And it's absolutely brilliant. It didn't make the charts, but I think it's a song that everybody everybody who knows about sort of punk pub rock sort of knows this song. So It Goes by Nick Lowe. So that was the first one. Next off, a band that didn't make the Stiffs tour, but were a great band from the first wave of UK punk rock, and this is the Adverts. And this is one called Wonders and Quick Step on the B side. And this one is by 13, and there you go, and it's on the the lovely sort of iconic Stiff Records label. This one, unfortunately, I don't have the picture sleeve on this, but I'm showing this because it's Elvis Costello and the Attractions. It wasn't his first single, but this was the first single that made the top 40 for Stiff Records. So it's catalogue by 20, and it was released on the 14th of October 1977, and I'm reliably informed it reached number 15 in the UK charts. So that's Watching the Detectives, and the B-side, what is it? I Blame It on Kane and Mystery Dance. So that's the first chart single of Stiff Records, and they went on to have a lot more. And in particular, there was this one, reached number 1 in 1978. It was released in November 1978, and it's Ian Dury and the Blockheads, and of course it's Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick, the gold record, number 1, and it's by 38. And there's the bespoke label there, but you can still see the Stiff logo at the bottom. Right, and another one that sort of I just like the sort of the presentation of this. It's Wreckless, Eric, and it's a pop song, and it was released in 1978. It's by 64. Reconnais Charret was the B-side, but I just quite like the whole sort of presentation of this. So there you go. Then you've got the details on the other side. Now, a lady who I think everybody knows from her hit Lucky Number, but I think that this is a better single from her. It's Lene, Lovich, of course, and it's Say When, and that was released in 1978, and it's by 46. I'll show you the label there. There you go. Another variation of the Stiff label. And the final 7-inch single I want to show you, and again, I love the cover, and it's a much later one. It's 1984, and it's rock and rollers, psychobillies, King Kurt, and this is Mac the Knife, and there it is, and this is was by 199, I think, isn't it? Yes, by 199, and I'll show you the label there, and it came with a little flexi disc. There you go, A B C D. I wonder where they got that logo from. So there you go. So those are the singles. I've got a lot more. I'm just scratching the surface here, but I thought I'd show you some of the early, more significant ones, and then a couple of covers that I liked. So right, an absolute classic, and this is a 12-inch single, or a giant 45, as they call it here. And this, of course, is Ian Dury, Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll. It says Get It While It Lasts, and you've got Sweet Gene Vincent and You're More Than Fair on the B side. So it's slightly different from the 7-inch single that has a little bit of razzle on the B side, and the label again, the Stiff label, and the catalogue number is 45T. So that's a 12-inch single from Stiff. Right. So we've had the first single, Nick Lowe's So It Goes. Well, the first album, What a Stonker, and it's a real pity that these guys weren't on the live Stiff tour, but I think they were, busy touring on their own at the time. So this is catalogue number Cs1, and of course it's the Damned and Damned. And I'll show you the label again. There you go. Again, a slightly different Stiff Records label there. And of course, this has got New Rose, and New Rose was released as a single by Stiff in October 1976, and it's reputedly the first UK punk single to be released. Unfortunately, I don't have the Stiff record copy. I've got a French copy of New Rose, but as I say, I haven't got the Stiff Records copy. Otherwise, I'd show it to you. But I think that's a fantastic picture on the back there. Right, we talked about Elvis Costello, so here we go. Elvis Costello. This was his debut album, My Aim Is True. So you've got Allison on here, which was an early single of his. Working Week, Miracle Man, Mystery Dance, Pay It Back, I'm Not Angry, End of the World, and the Angels Want to Wear My Red Shoes. And this is an absolutely brilliant album. It's still got the price sticker on it. Yes, £2.80 at our price, and it was reduced from £3.50. So I got a bargain there, didn't I? And there you go. That's the Stiff Records label. And both of those albums made the charts, made the top 40 in the UK, and which is pretty good for the first two album releases by a new label. And this next one did even better. This is New Boots and Panthers by Lene, Dury and the Blockheads, and the little lad is his son there, and there you go. That's a fantastic picture. That's a fantastic picture, isn't it? So you've got, Wake Up and Make Love to Me, Sweet Gene Vincent, I'm Partial to Your Abracadabra, Mild Man, Bill Ricky Dicky, Clever Trevor, Plaistow Patricia, Blackmail Man. Yeah, there's not a bad track on here, and it doesn't have Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll on it. I believe American versions did, but I could be wrong. And this the inner's really nice. I think it's got lots of lovely pictures, and there's another one there with Baxter Dury, who obviously is he's a recording artist in his own right nowadays. Ian's son. So there you go. So that's Ian Dury, and that disc, it was a gold disc for Stiff Records, their first. A guy that I mentioned that was on the tour, Wreckless Eric, with his self-titled debut album, and this is C6, the sixth album released by Stiff Records, and it says it's only 69 shillings and 11 pence, so that's £3.9 and 11. So it's about the going rate, about £3.50, I suppose, in decimal currency. And there you go, and it's on the Stiff Records, and this is the red version. There are various colours as red, green, yellow, and blue, I believe, with the same design. But you've got Reconnaissance Cherie again. Yeah, Grown Ups, Rough Kids, Brain Thieves, Rough Kids. Yeah, Whole Wide World opens side 2, and Whole Wide World is probably the track that Eric's sort of best known for. So there you go. That's Wreckless Eric. A lady that I've shown before in singles. This is Lene Lovich. And if you're familiar with Stiff Records, you're probably thinking, yeah, this is a different cover. Well, this is a Portuguese pressing of her album Stateless, and it's number 7. Yeah, but by 7 is It is the catalogue number here. And back in the day in Leeds, there was a record shop that used to sell Portuguese inputs of the latest albums, and they were always a little bit cheaper than the UK releases. So probably sort of a slightly inferior quality as well. But you know, I never really noticed that. And there you go. This is on the blue Stiff Records label. So that's Lene, Lovich and Wreckless. And then I've got just one more to show you, and this is another record that went platinum for Stiff, and it's a debut from the Brilliant Madness. And I think that picture of them is a picture that you know everybody knows. That sums the guys up, doesn't it? One Step Beyond, absolutely brilliant album. So they'd come over from Two Tone, released their debut album. I show you the inner there. Lots of snapshots there, and then some more on the back. But you know, you've got you know, One Step Beyond, My Girl, Night Boat to Cairo, Believe Me, Land of Hope and Glory, The Marvellous, The Prince, about Prince Buster, Tarzans and Knots, In the Middle of the Night, Bed and Breakfast, Razorblade Alley, Swan Lake, Rockin' in A Minor, Mummy's Boy, and Chipmunks Ago. And it's an absolutely brilliant album. So, you know, that's it. I think I've been whittling on long enough now about Stiff Records, but I may well do a part 2 to this and show you, you know, some of my other Stiff Records. Have a deeper dive into my collection, show you some of the stuff that you might not recognise. But as I say, you know, Stiff Records, they could do no wrong as far as I was concerned, and you know, showing you these things is a real pleasure. So until next time, I'll see you. Bye bye.